5 players Manchester City can buy in January 2025. So, I'll give you 5 players who I think we could sign in January, and then afterwards, I'll give you a percentage from 1 to 10 on how much percent I think realistically it could actually genuinely happen. So, let's do this. So, number 5, Bruno Guimaraes at Newcastle. Will be tough to get done because I'd be surprised if Newcastle would let go of him easily in January. And I think unless we pay like a big fee or they let him go for financial reasons, then I think it's unlikely that's going to happen. Even though we've been linked with him last summer as well. But it would be a great signing. But the issue we have with whoever we buy in the CDM role, what do we do with them when Rodri comes back? Because whoever you get in is not going to settle for being a backup, more than likely anyway. But that's obviously dependent on who you buy. I'd say there's a 7 out of 10 chance that this happens in January. And as for the summer, I'd say probably a 5 out of 10 for the summer. Because I think if we don't get him in January, because we've been linked with him for a while and then haven't been able to sign him, then we might just walk away because we might just be fed up with dealing with Newcastle. And then number 4 is Joshua Kimmich at Bayern Munich. Could be kind of straightforward to get this deal done because he's got 6 months left on his contract. He's worked with Pep Guardiola before, so he knows his style of play and philosophy. And he's not been too happy at Bayern Munich over the past few months or year or so. But it's another player that's going to be tough to get in January because Bayern Munich are trying to go for the league. They're one of the favourites for the Champions League as well. I'm pretty sure they're still in the German Cup as well. Well, they might have got knocked out, I can't remember. But either way, they're on for a successful season anyway. They're much better than what they were at this stage last season. So I think if we were trying to do this last season, it would have been much easier to do because they're in a much worse state as a club. And he would have been probably more open to leaving. And plus, Tuchel was still there at that time. And there's a new manager in there, one of our own, Vincent Kompany. So I do think it's possible to happen. In January, I'd say probably a 5 out of 10. But in the summer, I think it's quite possible to get done because if he doesn't sign a new contract, then he'd be on a free and we'd just have to pay his wages. Yeah, it'd be high, but it'd be much easier to get done than having to pay a straight-up transfer fee. So I think for the summer, I'd say there's a possibility 8 out of 10. Number 3, Jeremy Frimpong. Personally, I think in January, it's very slim that this happens because unless there's something where we give them Walker and then plus cash for Frimpong, then I think it's not going to happen because he's probably one of their best players in their squad along with Florian Wirtz. And I think if they let him go in January, then their season might go downhill. So I just think the chances of them doing that are very slim and are highly unlikely. So for January, I'd say it's probably a 2 out of 10. And for the summer, I'd say 8 out of 10. And then number 3 is... Wait, no, this is number 2, I think. Number 2... is Zubimendi at Real Sociedad. This is a signing that I think is the one that makes the most sense to me because I based him right now because He's one of the cheapest players we could get him. I think he got a 60 million release clause in January. The only issue you have is what do you do with him when Rodri comes back? Because Pep's not really that manager. Well, he's done it a few times, but he's not really that type of manager that would pay two like CDMs in the same team in the starting 11. So that could be a bit of an issue when Rodri comes back, should we get Zubimendi in. But I think for January, I'd say 7 out of 10. And for the summer, I'd probably say for the summer, 4 out of 10. Because I think if we get a CDM in January, then come the summer, we're not going to need him anymore. And then that means that he's probably going to more likely spend his remainder of his career elsewhere. And then number 1 is Ederson at Atalanta. To be honest, I don't really know a lot about him. But Atalanta are doing really well this season. I think they're top of the league, if I'm not mistaken. So I think the chances of us getting him in January are really slim. And they're really low. So I'd say for January, a 1 out of 10. Oh, God, big yawn. And then for the summer, I'd probably say a 3 out of 10. I just don't really see him being a Manchester City player, to be honest, at any point in his career. That's one of those players that like screams United all over for some reason. I don't know why. But take care. Have a lovely rest of your Tuesday. And I'll speak to you all soon. Take care.